All right, we're here with Julie Campbell, who's the owner of Campbell Development, which has been at the center of some controversy here in the territory regarding some employees who've alleged some real abuse there, checks bouncing, you withholding the checks from them, firing without cause. What is your explanation to, you've seen the video?
I have.
What is your explanation to that?
It's unfortunate and devastating that the gentlemen on the island have these accusations towards us. As a contractor in emergency management repair work here, we've been in Puerto Rico, we've been in several different places. I've never had such accusations. I can tell you with 100% certainty these men have been well taken care of.
Currently right now, I am 3 weeks behind on my pay. They are trying to take away pay. They have promised us $500 a day when we got here 9 weeks ago. They then cut that into $250 a day. They then 3 weeks ago started bouncing all of their paychecks. They bounced 37 paychecks last week alone. We are currently all owed thousands and thousands of dollars. Some people have their trucks stuck in the shipping containers because none of them are paid for. None of the trucks that are coming from Jacksonville and landed in Puerto Rico have been paid for. They will not ship our trucks off of this island anymore until we are no longer associated with Campbell Development.
Not a single man on the island is owed anything. All of our payroll is current. Not only that, but we've actually work stopped with us with AECOM on September 11th. And up to that point, we, of course, paid the guys to work, the contract work that they were supposed to do. After that, we paid them to sit on the island and wait, because that's what we were forced to do. And while funds were not coming in with us, we paid them every single day to sit on that island and do nothing. We gave them ample opportunities. They were welcome to go home at any point. If they had trucks on island, we'd ship them back. Because people do have families at home, and waiting is hard. So when I saw that video come out yesterday, it was devastating. We've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars having people sit on an island, and again, our payroll is 100% current.
They showed text with you responding back and forth with them.
Group chat.
Yeah, requesting explanations as to why certain checks were bouncing. What do you have to say to that? And then some of the text I saw, you were telling them, I'll have a ticket for you to go back home.
The owner of this company, when we were trying to get checks tonight, told us if anybody who asked about checks and went up to their office today, I will be holding your check. So we weren't able to get checks today at first because we just went to go ask about our checks. We had an individual simply ask what the pay was for a certain job that she wanted to be done. And she said, I'll have your flight ticket home. And that's all, that was it. And all he did was ask how much you would get paid.
The guys are, well, if a check does have an issue, then they need to contact the accounting department. A lot of the guys use the word bounce in many different terms. For instance, checks were passed out yesterday, and they went to Kmart in the afternoon, and Kmart didn't want to cash checks. So they told me that my checks bounced.
What they said in the video was that Kmart did a check, to determine whether there were funds, and it came back that there were no funds.
And I don't know how Kmart is able to verify any information. I don't know how that's a thing.
So there's a local, someone who used to work with you, I think her name is Kishma, and she worked with you for about a week, so in accounting,
Sure.
And then she showed us texts or messages with you trying to receive her funds, her monies, and that was a few months back, and she hasn't received those funds.
Kishma has had 2 checks mailed to her, and I can certainly, I'd be more than happy to provide you with that information. She was also told that she could pick up a check, a 3rd check that was cut at the office, and she just hasn't showed up. She hasn't showed up?
It's kind of contrary to the conversations that she showed us with you.
She asked us to mail the checks. And I'd be happy to provide you with all of the information that you need. All of our employees are paid current.
So the guys are not telling the truth. You're saying, you had at least a dozen guys there saying, Campbell Development, has really treated us bad. Our trucks, they want us to leave and live without our trucks. Some of us have no monies. We wanted to dispute our contract because they don't feel as if you were treating them as per the contract.
Person right here, James. James right here is the one that got kicked
I'm sleeping in
out.
my truck. They fired me and released me because I disputed my contract. They wanted me to work for free. They wanted 110 people to sit home and make $250 a day, but wanted me to go out and get on the roof and spend $40 in gas in my truck and make only $210 for the day. That's not fair. So I disputed my contract. It tells me I can dispute it and I can request a mediator. But when I did that, they told me they'd send me home and send my truck. But they wanted me to leave my truck here and fly out, and they send it at their convenience. No, I got a $30,000 truck. I got $5,000 in tools. I got to work back home. You can't send me home like that. So they kept my money. They told me I wasn't getting my money. I got it documented in text. I filed with the labor board and everything. They terminated me upon retaliation, which is illegal per OSHA. They can't do that to me. They left me here homeless. I'm sleeping in my truck. I'm not even supposed to be here right now.
I don't have an explanation for it. I truly don't.
Okay.
I know when you sit on an island for this long, they haven't had work. Had work provided to us in a month and a half. But they have absolutely all been paid. And anyone who's wanted to go home, we've bought plane tickets for. It's a federal contract, so unfortunately we don't always have the answers. But we've done everything in our power to make sure that these guys have been very well taken care of.
Okay, and so explain this, the situation with they sitting on the island. Was this by your request?
No, absolutely not.
So explain that, yeah.
Sure, absolutely. So our contract started out with between Patriot and AECOM.
Mm-hmm.
And we came over to do the work with Patriot and AECOM.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, when work stopped for them on September 11th, they kept telling us, work's coming, it's going to start. So we waited, and it never did start back, but we kept receiving this information, receiving these false hopes, not receiving payment, that we waited.
Mm-hmm.
But during that time, we paid every man that sat on this island every single day.
So they have people that are in Puerto Rico, Puerto Ricans themselves, that did not receive their last checks. I have people that have been kicked off of this island for less, and as soon as you leave this island, you do not get that last check that they owe you. If they owe you $1,800 when they leave this island, it does not matter. You're not going to get it.
I was one of the guys who was promised a check today and didn't get one. And I talked to the owner herself, and she said, I will have you one faxed over. Well, the ladies here said they don't have a fax machine here. So I called her back. She said she'd call me back with a little bit with some information, and I'm still waiting.
Also part of the video, you had some of the guys stating that they were promised a substantial amount of money, $500 a day. Some of them left their jobs, some of them left their families.
And for us to not pay our bills in the way that we normally get paid, that's a big letdown when we were promised much more than what they've given us. And so that's really the main point that everyone's trying to make. And we have it all in writing. We've got contacts, multiple people go on record. We filed a police report. Didn't want to because it's a civil matter, but regardless, we filed it because we're taking every step necessary. For any lawyer that's ready to jump on this case right now, class action, we're ready, because this is a multi-million-dollar class action lawsuit.
Sure. So each of these gentlemen were provided a very detailed contract outlining everything from the work, how they're going to be paid, the pay structure based on the houses, and so on and so forth. And they were also provided information on the project itself, as this is what you're coming to do and this is the project you're coming to facilitate. And so no one was given any false intentions as far as coming in immediately, starting work and making millions and millions of dollars. The contract was very detailed. The information was provided by the government of the Virgin Islands as far as what the work entails, and they were told that as soon as work starts, we will start. I'm sure that anyone can agree that if somebody being promised to paid $500 a day to sit on an island, we would all take that position. But
Okay. So part of the deal here is, you being a subcontractor underneath Patriot, which is under AECOM, and then part of the idea was that your company would receive work from them, and these guys would be working, but you no longer have a relationship with those firms, Patriot or AECOM. What happens from there?
So, and like I'd stated, we are in active negotiations for new contracts on the island to be able to continue the good work that we do.
Do you know why? So, are you owed any funds from Patriot or AECOM?
We are.
Both of them, or just from both?
Yes. Well, AECOM.
From AECOM?
Patriot is required to pay us, and we haven't received payment from either.
Okay. And why would a relationship severed? Payment, yeah. And so the guys who are here sitting down, not currently working, were they promised immediate work and more funds than they were making when they were home? I mean, okay, so what was the incentive for coming here?
Well, when the work starts, the money will be there, and that's an accurate statement. When the work starts, the money will be there. But no one was promised anything. Even this daily pay that they, have is not even part of a contract. It's not part of something that was agreed upon. It's something that we simply did because we do understand that they have families at home.
Okay, so this was like a verbal agreement of sorts?
It was just to make sure that the guys could make ends meet.
Right. So, do you think any of the guys had the notion that they would be here sitting down?
All of the guys that, the most recent group of guys that came with the notion that they would be sitting on an island until work started. All of the guys that were here prior to that were given the option to go home and then return.
They're still promising guys $500 a day downtime pay if they come here. I came with a 5-man crew, my own guys. We landed in Puerto Rico. My truck's already on a barge to come here. While we're in Puerto Rico, they call us and tell us it's down to $250 a day. We're stuck. My truck's in the middle of the ocean. What am I supposed to do? I gotta go. My employees, they got families. They got kids at home. They need the money, so we're gonna go because we're stuck. But you can't take advantage of us. And everything in our contract falls under St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands applicable law.
Yeah.
I have a family and kids at home, and I can't pay my rent tomorrow because it's due tomorrow, and I wasn't paid for what I was owed. And so therefore, my employee back home is here with his truck. All my tools are over $5,000 worth of tools. I've used my tools and my assets and my people here on this island, and I have nothing to show for it. When you talk about pain and suffering to a lawyer, that's what that means. My family is back home in pain because I can't send them the money that they deserve to pay my own bills. So therefore, I have to carry the burden for my family. Because they dropped the ball on everyone's. There's over 100 people that didn't get paid right. Some people didn't get paid at all. Some people got paid $250 for 3 weeks.
We've been put in such a terrible position with these outrageous accusations. My family, we've been here to provide help for the citizens of the Virgin Islands to aid in repairing what's been lost from these storms. I've lost in a storm. We've lost a lot in storms, just as many of the people from the Virgin Islands have. We brought these men over to help repair, and it's unfortunate that so many of them seem to be so disgruntled. I truly don't know where it comes from. I'm an open book. I'll provide you with proof of payment for everyone. Anyone that asks, we can show them what the guys have been paid, how they've been paid, how much they've been paid to sit on an island. And we've been more than fair and overly generous. And I don't know what more we can do to show that we're not the bad guys.